But
weeks.
the one thing that I can be
was it
absolutely
Conservatives?
sure
I
on,
remember.
I can bet my bottom dollar. In fact, I could put my life on it.
Okay, go on.
That whoever you vote for, when politics comes to town, everybody makes a wide range of sweeping promises.
Oh, this
And
typical.
they never deliver.
And to some extent, they probably say it with the best of intention, and they truly believe it in that moment. So maybe they don't.
Yeah.
But I can bet my bottom dollar, and I'll put my life on the fact that if you think in the next 10 years, if you vote for Labour or Labour comes into power or we stick with the Conservatives or miraculously...
Anything's going to change.
Something's going to change to the level where a party is going
We're
to
in
keep all its
utopia.
promises and this utopia is going to happen, it ain't going to happen.
Welcome back to the Benchwarmers podcast. We're back at it again, boys.
Wow. We're not 14 anymore.
Nah, you know what it is? When I went to Wembley and I came back, I was a different person. London changed me, man. London, I seen some shit down there, man. It scared me.
I'm sure you did. Talking about things coming out of London, we're going to get straight into this one because it's big.
Big news.
How big is it?
It's very big.
That's what she
This
said.
big.
Yes.
What's going on,
Exactly
fans?
that big. Rishi Sunak
Oh.
has called for a general election.
Zoom in, zoom out.
Zoom in, zoom out.
Ah!
Camera change. Oh, Rishi Sunak, 4th of July, Independence Day. Dun, 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 dun.
It sounds like a BBC News, ITV News at 10.
But
Rishi Sunak.
Yeah,
What is,
so
what
look-
is he? What is he doing?
so he's called a general election, which is quite interesting, actually.
It is actually
Because-
quite interesting. Like the time,
Yeah,
the climate,
yeah,
the support that he's currently got from his party.
or lack of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all up in the air.
It is
Yeah.
all up in the
It's
air.
kind of exciting times, but not so exciting.
Well,
as well. Because when
yeah.
you think about it, there's too many changes going on around. Like, we'll let you carry on with what you're
Yeah,
saying, but
yeah,
the 4th of July is include. Is
It's Independence Day for the Americans.
yeah,
From the
Yeah.
British.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
some
British.
people would say he's trying to take the glory away from American Independence Day,
It
and actually
probably is
getting the world focused on
British politics.
British politics.
British politics.
Yeah, but we've had 14 years
14
of
years.
Tory leadership.
Tory leadership.
Can you
Yeah.
believe it?
Which
man?
is a
That's
long
like half
time,
of our
man.
life.
And they beat the last Labour leadership by 1 year. Yeah, because before the 14 years of
Labour.
Conservatives,
Oh yeah.
Labour were in power when Tony Blair won over John Major.
Back in
Yeah.
97.
Back in 97.
Yeah.
Education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 13 years.
13 years.
Wow.
For 13 years. Well, then when they started coming out with a new Labour. So they were in power for 13 years, and the Tories have been in power 14 years. However, quite interesting, Sunak is called a general election for the 4th of July, known as 20 points down or
the
20 points
polls.
behind
Polls.
Labour in the polls.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why?
It begs the question. It doesn't make sense.
It does. It does
Go
make
on.
sense.
Go on. What's your take on this?
So Sunak has lost support from majority of the cabinet,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, we've seen people defect from Conservatives,
Yeah.
and also Gove, has he stepped down now?
Gov stepped down, was
stepped
it
down.
yesterday, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're saying there's another X amount of MPs
Which will do the same.
which are also going to do the same before
Yeah.
the general
Yeah,
election.
Yeah.
So because of that, he knows that he won't be the next, as in the leader of the Conservatives,
Conservatives, yeah.
because he'll have a vote of no confidence as well, sort
Yeah,
of monarchy. So he's just like, do you know what? Get rid of them. Go to general election, see what happens, and I'm going to step down and
But
let
there's
them sort it
Nah.
out.
There's no benefit from that.
Yeah, I don't think that's
think,
what it
I
is.
personally think because if
don't
he's
think
not got
that's
the
what it is.
support, he's got the power at least now
Yeah.
to call it. So before he loses that power,
Yeah.
boom, do it. What is he actually going to lose out on?
Well, he's not going to lose
Regardless
anything
of
out on
which
himself.
power-
Well, he's not going
Which-
to be losing out on any
Yeah,
money, I'll tell you that
exactly.
much.
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
You know, he's the
money.
richest prime minister in history.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
is it his father-in-law is a billionaire, owns a multi-billion.
No, that's his father-in-law.
father-in-law. That's his father-in-law.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said
Yeah,
his father.
father-in-law.
Yeah.
His father-in-law is like a
Multi-billionaire,
multi-billion
yeah.
corporation. But I think there's something else sinister behind this.
Ooh, sinister.
Now,
It's a big claim.
Think of something that's happened recently in the last couple of days. So for everyone at home, around the 25th or the 24th of May, there was a public announcement from Rishi Sunak
Which was,
urging the public to ration and stockpile for 3 days in
Yeah.
case of an emergency.
what's that got to do with the election?
Well, this is why I'm saying I think
Something's gonna
potentially
happen.
something major is going to happen, which is going to affect us in the United Kingdom.
Well, I don't know if you read
And I
on the
don't
back
think-
of that. So one of our cybersecurity leaders or whatever
Yeah.
from GCHQ basically come out and said, look, Russia
Russia, here we go again.
planning on interfering with our...
Friggin' Russians! Why is it always back to the Russians?
I know, it's always the Russians.
Oh yeah,
But they're saying
American
not
election,
only
Russians.
yeah, but they're saying that they are planning on not only interfering with UK politics and
That's
the
just
general
propaganda,
election,
I bet.
but American as well, and the European elections that are coming up.
Oh, yeah.
that we're prone to cyber attacks amongst other things, and the reality of it is that we are gonna
We're gonna be
Experience
jacked.
something.
where yeah. So while it might not be direct warfare,
It's gonna be
you know,
cyber.
we live in a different age, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
well, it's
actual
not
warfare,
an
it's
actual
But I
war.
think that's where
It's
the
an
economical
economical
war.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an
but I
economical
think
war.
that's where the whole 3-day things.
But what's that got
yeah.
to do with calling a general election?
So this is what I think. This is my personal opinion, right? And I
Like he's
think-
going to come out to be the savior. Sunak's going to save.
no,
the day,
no,
or
he's not
what's-
going to save the day. What he's realised
He's going to be
is-
plugged into the matrix, sat there coding.
Yeah.
you know,
It's Russia
Yeah,
attacking.
yeah.
Saved us.
what Rishi Sunak has done, he's acknowledged
Right.
that Tories are no longer in favour for the British public. We've seen that with the local elections, right? Because of that, he knows he's not going to win the next general election for the Tory party. Neither is anyone else in the Tory party going to be
So
popular
you saying
enough.
they admit defeat?
So I think that he's admitted defeat. No, but why has he admitted defeat and why is he called an election now? Because
We need to stockpile
something
3 days of food.
but something's going to happen in the very near future
Right.
that he doesn't want the Tory party to be responsible for, to deal with the backlash, to deal with the back end of it. So
you
let
think he's saying,
Labour
give up 4 years
or
now?
whoever it is,
Give up 4 years now to the next. Labour's going to
Whoever
deal with
it
it
is,
next.
yeah.
They're not going to be able to deal with it, and then we're Conservatives will be straight back
Yeah.
in.
back in again.
Maybe.
So he's thinking of it in that sense because
Maybe.
they don't want to deal with the blackout, anything that happens.
But what's he
for
going to
us.
be remembered for?
Nothing.
What's
Well,
Sunak's going to be?
What's
remembered
Sunak's
for?
legacy?
What's his legacy?
Well, actually, that's a good question.
You know.
What is his legacy?
Well, look, let's take a look over the last 14 years, or some of the key political moments
of austerity, let's just put it out.
of, well,
Of Tory leadership.
depends on where you sat, of Tory leadership, right? So in 2010, we had the hung parliament, David Cameron, joined with
Lib
the Lib Dems.
Dems, Nick Clegg.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Like,
And that was the first, that was the
Clegg,
first
eh?
coalition government
Yes.
since the war.
Yeah, it was. I remember that.
So,
That
yeah, it
that
was a big thing.
That was a big thing.
Yeah.
Big thing.
And then in 2014, we had the Scottish referendum.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They voted stay.
They voted stay, 55 to 45%
Yeah.
in favour
Yeah.
of staying. The year after, David Cameron calls a general election. Yeah, clearly he wasn't happy with the fact that he had to share the power, so he wanted full control. And ended up winning a majority.
Majority, yeah.
See, one second. He came in 2010.
Yeah.
So it's every 5 years,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And then
Was it 5 years?
Yeah,
before?
5 years.
5 years.
I was his
yeah.
5 Americans for.
2016 we voted on Brexit. And
But that was a joint. DWP, better than DWP come in.
well, currently we're going through key political moments of the Conservative Party.
No, but wasn't there a coalition with them?
Well, yes, there was. Yeah, we'll come back to that. one.
I'm not as dumb as I look. When was that though?
So 2016,
Yeah.
we came out of the EU,
Yeah.
right?
And David Cameron stepped down because he was like,
He didn't win.
And
he
he
didn't
stepped
win none
down,
of
yeah,
that.
because he
He made a
genuinely-
promise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he made a promise, and he actually thought it wouldn't go that way, but it did. Theresa May steps in, with her dancing.
yeah, the robot.
So yeah, the robot. Yeah. Oh, that's a very
Looks
good
like
rendition.
Mr. Burns, doesn't it?
Yeah. And coincidentally, you're wearing blue as well.
oh,
But
Dun, dun, dun.
then we have in 2017 snap election backfires. Conservatives lose their majority, and they end up striking a deal with DUP. DUP.
who's DUP?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
DWP,
Ireland
Department for Working Pensions.
no.
Who's
Democratic
the
Unionist
DUP?
Party.
Oh, I can't remember that.
Yeah, it was the
2019.
Irish Party, wasn't it?
2019, Theresa May quits.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So she quits, and that was due to a deadlock on how should we leave the EU.
Yeah.
We couldn't decide what it's going to look like. There was I think she lost the confidence that she was going to be the one to carry us forward, make the right trade deals.
Was it vote of confidence?
So,
she
yeah.
And that's when, was it Bojo?
Then in December, in comes Bozza. Bozza comes in,
Bojo.
and he calls a snap election, screaming, "Get Brexit done!" Yeah, and leads the Conservatives to a landslide victory, the first of its kind in the modern era. I say the modern era, but basically it was the biggest
Post-war.
one since since Margaret Thatcher's landslide
Oh
victory.
yeah, Thatcher.
Oh, Maggie.
And then 2020, moving forward to 2020, Bozza gets Brexit done.
Done it.
He's done it. He's completed it.
He Brexited.
And then 2022, he gets booted. He gets booted. Bozza gets booted.
Was it a
right?
vote of no confidence against Bozza?
No,
Or did he just step down?
Yeah, he stepped down because obviously.
It was pretty much a vote of no confidence, I think.
Yeah,
Was
I
it?
think
I
so.
thought it
Yeah, especially around the booze up during COVID, amongst other things, etc. But anyway,
The
he gets
350 million savings in the NHS.
the
Never
bus.
saw it.
Yeah, you'll all remember the bus,
Big red bus with
yeah.
350 million pounds saved for
This
the
is it,
NHS.
So then
Nothing
we
from
get
it.
another female prime minister in, Liz Truss.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember Liz Truss? Everybody
Good
forgets about
old
Liz.
Lizzie.
Yeah. Liz
We
comes
should-
into power and she leaves as quick as Les Reed did for Charlton.
Which was? How long?
44 days.
Oh my God.
Does she hold the record for the shortest
Shortest, yeah.
duration of a prime minister?
44 days. Like, you can't even let it get your login details
was in and
for
out.
your government portal within 44 days. That's taking a...
Well, I Googled it. Right? How long did she stay in power? It's 44 days. Then I thought, right, which manager has lasted for 44 days or less? And poor Les came out. He managed Charlton for 44 days.
Oh wow,
So,
tied.
yeah,
days,
so he's
tied,
tied.
yeah.
He's tied.
Must be that 44.
This is it.
I'm just thinking, in terms of her expenses, she only managed to put in 1.5 months worth of expenses. She got nothing out of that.
Yeah,
deal.
exactly. Anyway, she gets binned off. Sunak comes in, and now Sunak's called for a general election on the 4th.
Yeah.
Now, there's an important decision to make for many people across the country. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people never vote, and it is what it is. However,
Yeah,
some people
Yeah.
do vote. Then there's the realistically, in realistic terms, you are going to vote. One of the two major parties are going to come into power. For anybody else to come into power, it's pretty much impossible.
It's because
Yeah.
our system doesn't work like the American system.
No.
In America, you could just be like a normal candidate, join either one of the sides and go, yeah, I want to be the leader. Boom, I can become a president. Here, you got to have a party. They've got to get seats.
Yeah, you got to get. It's on number of seats.
Yeah.
isn't it?
But
You know,
I
majority
mean,
number of seats.
there's so many factors that are like going to be in play here.
Yeah.
So you got the Russian war with Ukraine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
You've got the economy, which
what,
is
in-
slowly
yeah.
the inflation is coming
One
down
second.
Yeah.
In play with what?
in terms of who's going to be who you're going to vote for.
Okay, so whose
Right.
policies are the
Whose
best?
policies are the best policies, right?
What's the Russian and Ukraine war got to do with?
Well, it's
Because, like,
economically,
there-
there's
there's-
done a lot. So, for example,
Yeah.
look at the oil prices.
So Tories will have their policy that they're all with Ukraine. Labour, I believe, they are also in support of Ukraine.
Of course,
But then there's
everyone is.
other independent parties, and I can't name you which ones. They're independent people
Yeah.
who are against war.
You're talking
completely.
about Galloway.
Like
George
George Galloway, he's against all these wars. Like
Yeah.
he's against the another thing, the conflict Israel-Palestine. So a big shake-up in the local elections was why? Because
Rochdale,
people voted independent because their policies aligned with freeing Palestine. Right?
So,
So that's where the whole shake-up has come from.
Yeah,
Because
let's-
people
let,
don't-
let, let's come back to this. Let's
Yeah,
come
go
back
on,
to
go
this.
on, go
yeah?
on, go on.
We'll come back to this conversation because we'll touch on it later on. Right?
Okay.
But the reality is that majority of people, we're not going to get tomorrow on the 4th of. Sorry, we're not going to get on the 4th of July. Shake up where an independent party comes in. It's just not
It's
going to happen.
unlikely. It's
very
very
unlikely,
unlikely.
yeah.
Very unlikely.
It's not going to happen. It's either going to be Labour
Labour
or
or
Conservative.
Conservative.
Yeah.
Or we may get a hung parliament where Labour will have to
Strike the
decide with
deals,
somebody
yeah.
else.
Yeah,
Side up with somebody else and form a government of coalition.
Yeah.
UK.
Green Party is be popular. Yeah.
They're not going to come in with Green Party.
No,
Green
they won't.
Party.
Green Party. Yeah.
But however, before you make that decision, people are going to say, well, what has the Conservative Party done for us over the last 14 years? Now, on a personal level, if I want to pay less tax,
yeah.
I should vote Conservative.
Yeah.
On a selfish level.
But
But what I do know is that there's many people struggling.
Yes.
And they are struggling in real terms, and they are struggling in terms of cost of living.
Yeah.
And everybody is feeling the pinch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except if you're in a certain tax bracket, you could technically cut back on your own expenses and find a different way to live. But you'll be all right. Yeah. But the people out there that are working 2-3
average
jobs,
Joe.
the average Joe that's trying to get by, got kids to feed, might be a single parent.
Very difficult.
It's
We're counting millions of
different life.
children under the poverty line now.
Well, let's have a look at some of the broken promises
yeah.
of Conservatives.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying I'm for or against you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying let's
Well,
state the facts.
neutral.
It's almost
Stick it
seems
neutral.
like it's on the
But
Labour side,
let's state the facts. Yeah. So they said, Conservatives said we were going to generate 300,000 new homes a year.
That was a lie. That never happened.
We've gained just under 235,000 new homes a year.
I feel like it's a lot less than that, but okay, we'll go with that figure. Yeah.
They said that they're going to end rough sleeping for good. However, over the last couple of years,
God, it's gone worse.
It's skyrocketed.
Yeah, skyrocketed.
They were going to ban no fault evictions, but in the last 5 years since Theresa May made that promise, there's been 90,000 renters who have been hit with the Section 21 notice.
Which is big news recently.
Yes.
Yeah, with a change in legislation.
Bozza, your boy, said he was going to build 40 new hospitals. Only 5 have actually received planning permission, and
Just planning permission.
just planning permission.
We're at
So
that
there's no
stage.
actual building. That's,
Like
that,
the
that's been done
biggest con, I think.
whatsoever.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest cons.
They said they were going to reach net zero by 2050. I can tell you now, that's not going to happen.
Well, on that, they've gone against their decision of banning diesel cars in 2030. They're now, it's under review, I think it's going to be 2035 or 2040.
So we're not reaching net zero by
No chance.
2050.
No chance.
No new tax rises. We've seen a couple of them.
We've seen a couple of them.
Cutting the NHS waiting list.
They've just changed how they do it.
Stop the boat.
Yeah, they were very clever with the statistics there.
Yeah.
They chose a different type of statistic, yeah.
Stop the boats. End leaseholds. Ending child poverty in the UK and leveling up the UK in various regions. So these are
Again, the
promises
biggest
that
lie.
we said they
The
broken.
biggest lie.
However-
HS2, biggest lie.
Yeah.
Do you know-
However, sorry.
Sorry.
I was
I was just going to talk about HS2, but it's pointless.
Yeah,
It's
well,
done.
I will welcome that conversation.
Yeah,
because
I think HS2 would have really helped the North.
No.
I think it would have.
I
the
think it
amount
would
of so the value they would have got out of that project was nowhere near what it could have been in terms of the technology that they used, how they've gone about managing this. The way I see it, it was a big pot for consultancies to make huge.
No, but the
No,
problem
that's-
is
that's
by
what the
the
point
by
I'm
the time the
making.
HS2,
That's what the point of making.
yeah,
half an hour saving in your journey time. What does half an hour do in terms of real time, in real terms? Nothing. Everyone works remotely nowadays. That's one thing.
Half an hour. You talking about half an hour of the journey
Yeah.
saved?
But leveling up the north, right? That's what you're referring to.
No, but you know what?
HS2
In
would
terms
help
of
the
in
north.
terms of logistically, there was a couple of things with the HS2. Yeah, firstly, the technology by the time it would have come in would have been older.
It was already 30 years
yeah, it was
behind.
over 30 years behind. Which just kind of tells you where actually we are from
Yeah.
a technological
Should
standpoint.
get a
Way
Japanese in.
behind.
Yeah, basically,
Way
yeah.
behind.
You get a
Look,
Japanese
look,
and get
Japan,
the bullet trains.
Japanese bullet train.
Yeah.
If we had a bullet train, then you would have shaved it in
How
half.
can a country like ours not have a bullet train?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know why?
And do you know these
Because we
Japanese?
stopped inventing.
Yeah, the Japanese were
It's not even
nuked.
that.
Yeah.
Decimated,
Yeah.
and technologically they're still ahead of us.
Like
Yeah.
you see all these TikToks and everything. How like
Yeah.
the
And they had
technology
real
is mad.
infrastructure problems.
Yeah.
after that.
Major.
So
Yeah. And
anyway,
it
we're not
makes no
talking.
sense.
Let's get back on. Yeah, but then you got the other side of the party. Yeah, and those broken promises. Who's jumping on the back of those? Labour. Yeah, and you see it in prime ministers PMQs. When they go in,
I used to
Starmer.
watch that so
yeah.
much. Parliament Channel.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
it. But
Really?
Yeah, I used to love the. Like,
but you
the
know,
debates.
then you've got Starmer and Sunak, and they're going at it back and forth and this, that, and the
Yeah.
other. So what are Labour saying? Labour are saying, look, why should you vote for us? Labour are saying, look, vote for us, vote for change. We are the change that the
Party
UK.
of change.
Yeah, we're the party of change. We are the ones that are going to deliver. We are the one that are going to show change in your daily lives, and we are the one that are going to take Britain forward and get it back to almost Trumpish.
Make Britain great again.
Make Britain great again.
Okay.
So what are they promising? They're promising that they're going to deliver 2 million more NHS appointments
Great.
a year.
Okay.
I mean,
How? Because on the flip side, the Conservatives will turn around and say,
How you gonna do that?
Yeah, but sorry, Keir Starmer says on the flip side that things have got worse because you're not invested in the workforce and etc.
Yeah.
and all the rest of it. But when asked, well, how are you going to deliver 200,000 more appointments a year?
2 million. Or was it
2 million more appointments through the NHS every year. How are you going to do it? By paying overtime.
Well, that's even
And
more
tapping
bigger
into
deficit
the
in
private
Sector.
sector and paying those guys additional. To take
Can I just
on-
put it out
onto
there? Looks
NHS
like the
appointments.
Tories and Labour are both trying to privatise the NHS.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
However, the one thing that has happened is the waiting list in the NHS for appointments has gone up 204%.
You can never get an appointment.
Yeah.
Never get an appointment.
They wanted to set up a great British energy company. So, a newly publicly owned British energy company to cut the energy bills and create jobs, and then also apply major windfall tax on the major oil and gas corporations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
They want to close the private education tax loopholes to improve schools and stop avoidance in these private schools avoiding VAT fees.
Wow,
which is a big
that's gonna
loop.
I mean, that
Magnus.
really impacts us, yeah.
No,
Wow.
but he's saying
Private
that we'll
schools,
take that
okay.
money that they don't. That
Which
they
is
don't
how
get.
much in terms of a monetary
I'm
value?
not sure. Yeah.
It's not going to be
But
much
let's say,
at all.
But let's say it's 200 million a year.
It's not even
across all
that.
the
It's
year.
going to be way
Okay,
less
fine.
than that.
Let's say it's 1 million a year. Let's say it's £1. Yeah.
£1 million
You know,
is nothing.
let's just take
Let's
it
say
out for a
50p.
second. Yeah.
£1 million can't
But,
even
his point
fail.
his point is that they're exploiting tax loopholes, to benefit cash wise, and rather than being able to benefit from that,
So he just wants
let's
to clamp
take
down.
that back, clamp down, take that money back, and pump it into the public schooling system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see
And you know what
happen.
that does? That deters people away. Like if you're talking from a business perspective or overseas students, it deters them away because it's more expensive. So they don't want to do their business here anymore. They'll go
No,
back
this
to
is private schools, man.
Yeah, I know.
private
Yeah,
schools,
but
like,
it's a
overseas
potential outcome.
students,
It is a
they might
potential
say, well, you know
Yeah.
what?
We're not going to send our kids to private schools.
Yeah.
It's
No,
expensive.
we're going to go to
They
America
also want to
instead or
stop
something.
water bosses' bonuses when their companies harm the environment. So they want to end hotel use for asylum seekers, which costs taxpayers $8 million a day.
8 million a day.
$8 million a day.
Yeah, those figures are scary. But then again, £8 million. What was that? What's that comprised of? I think it's comprised of mismanagement. But yeah, never mind.
Potentially. But they want to make the minimum wage a genuine living wage that actually deals with cost of living crisis.
Yeah.
And they want free breakfast clubs in every primary school in England.
Who's going to give them
Great benefits, by the way. I think, positive towards society.
Yeah.
But I've just got one comment to make on that.
Yeah.
Right. The way that the Tories run the country and the way Labour runs are two very different ideas. Yeah. One route is a very financial, business orientated. The other one is more social and
So Labour for the people
Labour for
and
the people.
Conservatives are for the top wigs.
Not just the top bigs.
Yeah.
The economy. Right. So whilst I don't agree with a lot to their policies because they've cocked up on so many different things, the way that they can drive the economy is very good.
So
Well-
let me ask you a question then, yeah? It's a good point, yeah? So let me ask you this question.
Okay.
If they've driven the economy,
Yeah.
why
the
is
ground.
inflation risen the way that it has? And then on
Yeah.
top of that, why is everybody feeling the pinch?
The pinch. Yeah.
Why
is the cost
are
of living
electric
crisis-
companies and
Yeah.
gas companies allowed to overcharge the way they
Yeah.
are?
So these are the things I don't agree with. It's
No, but how are they driving the economy then?
Yeah.
no, but it's not. No, but you got to take.
Can you
into
give me two examples?
No,
In
but
fact,
you-
one
you-
example of
you-
how have they driven the economy?
how they invited business from overseas,
Which
from
business?
Japan, like countries, bringing their
You know our
business
own
into
like
the UK.
steel. I think they've got rid of
Yeah, but-
everything
that-
in terms of production from this
Yeah, because
country.
Tata Steel
Yeah.
were the big company that owned all the
We
steel
we
manufacturing
produce
plants.
nothing now.
We don't produce anything.
We don't produce anything
We
now.
are a
We-
consultancy.
And how does that help our economy? We're not exporting.
Finances.
We just import.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Think of it a different way.
So we are
Don't
making
think
other
about-
countries rich by buying their
No,
products.
but don't think in terms of what we produce, manufacturing or growing or anything
Why do you
like
think
that.
China's so big? How do you think its economy's grown so
Yes,
big?
it's grown big,
Japan's
yeah.
economy's grown
Yeah.
so big. They export more than
Yeah.
what they import.
Yeah.
Their export's crazy.
Yeah.
Our export is zero.
but
but our
don't think
import
about
is
export.
boom, boom,
No, no,
boom.
no, but don't
So
think
if they
about
want to
export.
inflate their prices,
Yeah, but
guess
that helps
what?
the economy.
We're at the mercy of their price range.
Yeah, exactly.
What about
yeah.
the farmers?
But don't
What about the
think
farmers
about-
and natural produce?
Yeah, but
How
don't
have they helped
think
the
about
farmers?
don't think about the UK being an export country. We're not an export country.
But
We
I'm not
don't
saying we are.
manufacture
Yeah, I know
anything.
we're not.
Yeah,
We don't manufacture anything. But What else do we provide? We
Nothing.
provide engineering services.
To
We
who?
provide financial
To who?
services.
Who's-
to the entire
who's
Who's
world.
let
coming
me ask
to
you a question.
Who's coming
Let me-
to
wait,
you
wait,
saying,
wait.
can you give us financial
There
advice?
are-
Let me.
Okay,
there's-
fine.
there's
Let me
a
ask you a
lot
question.
of
Yeah,
business
who's coming
there.
to the UK for infrastructure advice when they
So
are about to install HS2, which
Right.
hasn't gone ahead?
Yeah, but
that's
no, but
30 years old. When
yes,
in
but this is
Japan,
different. This is
you've
different.
got the bullet train.
You got to look.
I know
at
where I'm
other
going for my
countries-
advice.
A lot of other countries that have their project managers, their engineers, and so on. So
Okay,
who
let's bring this from
generally are
background.
there? There's a lot of British people.
Fine, let's bring it.
So that's
background.
just-
But that's a whole different.
Yeah,
That's a whole
let's-
different.
let's
kettle
bring
of
it
fish,
background,
yeah.
right?
Whole
That's
different
just
kettle of fish.
profession.
It's a profession.
Yeah,
But
so let's-
that's where we make our
So
money
boys,
from
boys, let's
financial
bring it back round.
institution.
Okay, let's
And
Let's
from-
bring it
yeah,
back round.
yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, there's polarizing opinions and views on both sides, as demonstrated.
I'm
yeah?
just going to put it out there.
So-
I don't agree with any of the parties, to be fair. I
Okay.
think government in general is a load of bollocks.
Right. Okay.
it
but
should
you
be-
need a government.
You
to
need
be
a
able to-
government. You need a
you do,
government. Yeah. It's about choosing the best out of a bad situation, really.
So, but at the same time, people will say, "All right, well, you think Labour's so good, but Labour had overspent,
Yeah.
and they had a full thing around, New Labour was for the working person, for the working class.
Yeah.
But a lot of people would say that they failed the working class.
Well, yeah, because they couldn't
They
fund
brought
it.
the country into bigger debt.
Yeah.
Into
This is what I'm
into
saying.
bigger debt.
There's two
The
very
Iraq-
different types of parliaments.
The Iraq War, many people opposed that.
Opposed it, yeah.
Tony Blair's
The
legacy.
2008 recession.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
technically, the recession wasn't their fault.
Yeah.
However, the people don't think
How
that
did
they
they
managed
build
us
resilience behind it?
through. Yeah,
That's
they didn't
another
manage us
question.
through that in that. Now, Labour could turn around and say, well, look, the reality is especially through the recession, we couldn't foresee that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So if we did,
that
we
was
might
a
have
world
pulled
economy.
spending somewhere else, and we could have put it into this resilience plan and make sure that we got through. We got through that, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
However, they didn't. But and some people would say, well, no, the whole thing about overspending is actually a myth because GDP actually rose under Tony Blair than it did previously. So did we really
arguments.
overspend? Did we not? So you could cut the shit in the middle
Swings and
and say,
roundabouts.
well, you're all
It is.
chatting shit.
But that's what I mean. That's what I mean. The direction of the two different parties, like the major parties in this
Yeah.
country, is one's very social and one's a very financial.
Yeah. So here's the
driven
thing, right? So you got the
party.
two major parties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you go? So if people are disenfranchised with British politics.
Yeah.
The average Joe. I think
Nowadays,
that-
I think the local elections was the poorest turnout
Yeah.
in terms of people voting because people have had enough. They've
But
had enough.
Did you vote?
I voted, yeah.
Did you vote?
I voted.
Yes.
There's what? Did you?
Yes.
Okay. Did
Yeah.
you vote? See,
vote.
33% of the people sat here
60,
chose not to vote.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Not
Yeah. That's
Not
because I
30%.
forgot. That's
Yeah.
purely it.
because
Yeah.
you forgot.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Terrible.
But here's the thing.
You got the future of your family and yourself to be
Yeah.
thinking
But here's the
about.
thing, right? So
It'll change in a couple of months anyway.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, yeah. So people, I think, are disenfranchised, and I think Zed's right. We've seen some major turns in
Yes.
local elections.
Yeah.
We've seen Conservatives go the other way.
Yeah.
We've seen some Labour
the other
MPs
way.
go the other way.
Yeah.
Which is
We've
what
seen
happened in
people.
Rochdale.
Yeah, we've seen people go independent.
Yeah.
So like
Huge number of people.
Yeah.
Huge number.
Jeremy Corbyn, he's another one.
Yeah,
so
he's
he's
gone
been
independent,
the MP in his constituency for 40 years.
Yeah.
And Labour actually didn't put him on the
roster.
The roster, yeah,
Yeah,
basically,
they've got
they
rid
didn't
of
put him
him,
on the
haven't
roster.
Yeah.
So he's standing independent. So is that a bold move by Labour?
Well,
But at the same time, because I know Jeremy Corbyn comes with his own.
He's a controversial figure.
Yeah, he's a controversial
you either
figure.
love him or you hate him.
No, it's just.
And it's not him.
I'm not going to get into it,
It's not
but
him
it's
personally.
just that whole he got labelled as a terrorist sympathiser
yeah,
because
yeah,
he was
which-
supporting
Yeah, and
Which,
anti-Semitic,
again,
and
yeah.
amongst other things. But the point being, Jeremy Corbyn,
Yeah.
he's held that constituency for 40 years.
40 years.
Has he held it because he's Labour, or has he held it because he's Jeremy
Well, that's
Corbyn?
what I mean.
We're going to find out.
In terms of his
We are,
personality
we are,
and the
we are,
people,
we
and
are.
the person that he is, I think that's where he would win because people like him as a person. Like you
Well,
said, they labelled him as this and that, X, Y, and Z. But you got to think his own party members did that.
yeah,
Why?
because they're going to do that because they're cutting out all the crap and they don't want.
Yeah.
When it comes to the general
Yeah,
election,
They saw
No,
a
no.
stepping stone
No,
to gain
no, no,
power
no,
of the
no,
Labour
no.
Party.
It's
No.
not. It's not. It's
You want
it's
to-
purely because when the elections come up, they want no blemishes.
Yes.
Yeah,
They want no blemishes
Yeah.
to say
Yeah.
you've got this person
Yeah.
standing for this
It's
constituency.
Alright,
the,
but put it on the flip
Amelius,
side
it
of-
almost sounds like the new Labour.
yeah, it is. It's the new Labour. That's what's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, that's what
Coming
it
out
sounds
with it.
like. And but here's the thing, right? So you've got multiple parties, right? So we'll name a few. So obviously you got the big ones, you know, Conservatives, Labour. You got
The forgotten ones, the Lib Dems.
yeah.
The poor Lib
Yeah.
Dems.
You've got the
I voted
SNP.
for them once upon a time.
You got the SNP. Then you got the DUP. You got Sinn Féin. You've got the Green Party. Then you got the Workers' Party. Yeah, and there's some other smaller independents within that, but the Workers' Party, for example, that's what George Galloway's just had his.
Is that what he's
election,
affiliated with?
In Rochdale.
It's Green Party, isn't it?
No,
Workers'
it's the
Party.
Workers' Party.
It's the Workers'
It's the
Party.
Workers'
Oh,
Party.
Yeah.
So, and people would, and he's a very polarizing figure. Whether you agree with him, whether
Very.
you don't.
To the point where Sunak had to come and make a special announcement.
It's mad, isn't
When
it?
he-
which was crazy.
That is
Yeah.
absolutely
And by the
insane.
way, if you have a look at the numbers, he won landslide, crazy
landslide,
victory in Rochdale.
And it's
But a lot
because of his
people
policies.
but a lot of people said it's because he won the Muslim vote. However, that wouldn't have been enough
to have won.
to have won the way that he did, which means that his support actually reached wider.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things about Georgia boy that I think
Are controversial.
are controversial,
Yeah.
you know, and I think people assume that he has the Muslim vote because
He stands for Palestine.
he stands for Palestine.
No, but
and
even
all the rest
before
of it.
that, he's been a very
But-
controversial figure, hasn't he? Because
Yeah,
he,
but a lot of it
Controversial when he
does-
was on Big Brother.
yeah,
Yeah.
You want me to be? I could be a pussycat.
I mean, you can't even erase that from history, can you?
But here's the thing: who do you vote for? You got all these parties, all these promises. You know, who do you vote for? That's really going to make a change. If you don't vote, it's a wasted vote.
Yeah.
You know, but
It is.
the one thing I would say is if you don't vote,
Utilize your-
you can't complain.
Yeah.
You
can't.
no,
You
no,
can't
but
complain.
no, but
Your
because-
vote could have been the changer.
Yeah, exactly. And
It can
every
be.
vote does truly matter. So you can't
Every
turn around
single
and
vote.
say, I'm not going to vote because it's not going to make a difference anyway. But I fucking hate the government, and I hate Labour, and I hate Conservatives.
What
and
are
I
you
hate
doing about
everyone.
it? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You ain't going to
always
do anything
and
about it. You ain't gonna room for the
encouraging everyone at home. Make sure you go out and vote,
you should
even
vote.
though
You should vote.
none of us really
should-
agree
you should
with
vote.
all these different parties that are out there, right? Because they're all a load of rubbish, half of them.
vote.
But you should vote because that could be the vote for change, and it might help you in a little.
vote.
You might do.
What's going on here?
We're just agreeing with
We're
you.
just agreeing with
silently.
you.
Oh,
We're like,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
hype men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people
You're
in the
in-
background.
you're in blue.
Subliminal messages. Won't
Yeah,
vote.
yeah, you're in blue. You like Conservative, overpowering, overbearing. You know, we can't stand you. But
So you're Labour. Who are you?
I'm the Purple Party.
this is a purple party.
Not
But here's
the
the
green.
thing.
Purple one.
Not the Green Party, the Purple Party.
But look, you've got the big ones, yeah. Then you've got the
Called the
independents and the
Street.
smaller parties.
Yes.
And it's like, look, you know, well, is there any point voting for them? Yes, there is, because a small party becomes a bigger party when more people vote for
That's
that
how
party.
Labour started,
So
wasn't
that's
it?
a
It's a
small
small
party.
party.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because the two main parties to start
Yeah,
off with
so that's the
were
thing.
the Lib Dems
Yeah.
and the Conservatives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the Lib Dems were the ones with the
But the
Whigs.
one thing that I can be
Or was it
absolutely
Conservatives?
sure
I can't
on,
remember.
I can bet my bottom dollar. In fact, I could put my life on it.
Okay, go on.
That whoever you vote for, when politics comes to town, everybody makes a wide range of sweeping promises.
Oh, this typical.
And
And
they
they
never
probably,
deliver.
and to some extent, they probably say it with the best of intention, and they truly believe it in that moment. Some maybe they don't, but I can bet my bottom dollar, and I'll put my life on the fact that if you think in the next 10 years, if you vote for Labour or Labour comes into power, or we stick with the Conservatives, or miraculously
Anything's going to change.
something's going to
Nothing's
change to the level where a party is going
We're
to
in
keep all its
utopia.
promises, and this utopia is going to happen. It ain't going to happen.
Guess the game.
But I think
Try
that's
game,
why.
man.
But I think a lot of people understand that, and I think that's why people are truly disfranchised with politics, because ain't shit changing and things are getting worse and people are struggling.
It's
Who
never
cares
gonna
about the layman?
change.
I care about
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
You know, but should we not care for thy neighbour?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Love thy neighbour.
Care for thy neighbour, love,
Love
thy neighbour.
You know,
Ooh,
should
very-
should we not though?
Neighbours become good friends.
Yeah, neighbours. All right,
God
fantastic.
almighty.
Brilliant. Yeah. But the point being, yeah, should we not care about each other? From a selfish point of view, you know, if it means paying less tax, I could stick with Conservatives. Give them my vote.
Yeah.
Or on the flip side, do I vote for Labour because I want to help everybody, or do we flip it on its head completely and vote for an independent party? You know, but the reality is you have to understand the policies first.
I've got a question for you guys. Why don't we, or would you ever, set up our own political party
No.
called the Benchwarmers? What? Already?
No.
Why?
Can't be bothered.
Why?
Can't bother.
Yeah.
But you want change, don't you?
Nah. I like to sit there and complain.
I think I'd do it.
I'm a moaning complainer.
I'd do it. And I use your lot's faces to be part of my cabinet, but really you're going to be shadow cabinets. Because you ain't going to do that at all. But I think, I've always fancied
The
it.
Benchwarmers political party.
Yeah.
The BPP.
And what would be the top
The
3
BPP.
priorities? Money, money, money.
I was going to say.
Money, money.
I was going to say. Subscribe, like, and comment.
Subscribe, like, and comment, yeah.
And on that bombshell,
Yes.
make sure you do, peeps.
Get out and vote.
Get
vote
out
for
and
change. Vote for whoever you want, but just fucking do it.
Are you being sponsored by the Labour Party? Vote for change.
I'm wearing
Look,
the wrong colour though.
Here's a message. Here's a message, right?
Oh, here
Don't
he
listen to
comes.
this conservative here.
Here he
right? Don't
comes.
trust him. Right, I'm joking, by the way.
I'm hurt.
Get out and vote. If you want to see change and you want to see something different.
Oh, is
and
this
you're
the
not
new
happy-
Labour Party over here?
No, this is the new
It
Labour
sounds
Party.
like a broken record,
Yeah,
this.
But you want to see something different and you want to see things. I don't want to say the word, the C word, yeah, CHANGE, yeah.
Changi.
Yeah.
What's Changi?
If you want to go down that route and you're not happy with the way things are, there's only one way to make a difference: get out and vote.
Yeah.
If you don't vote, then you're wasting the vote. But don't complain. Don't complain. Don't be a serial complainer.
Thanks for
Don't do it.
reiterating that point
Yeah.
I was trying to
And
make.
All I want to
Laser.
say is, if you want to be somebody and you want to go somewhere,
Then you've got to wake up.
you better wake up and pay attention.
Pay attention.
I
Sister
honestly
Act
thought you were going to say, get out and vote, peeps. Make sure you do this. Make sure you do
No.
that.
But July the 4th, let's see.
What
I think
happens?
to be fair, I do think Labour will take it. But let's see.
Let's see what
Maybe
goes on, let's
Sunak
see
keeps
what
it and continues with a fresh majority, and it ends up actually going that way. But we don't know.
We'll never know.
Maybe the Green Party come in.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Maybe we're going to starve for 3 days without any food because you ain't stocked up.
Yeah.
gonna
And
be
Russia hits us
We're
with
all
a
going to
cyber
run out of
attack.
toilet paper to wipe our asses with.
Who uses water?
Bless your fingers. But yeah, catch you on the next one, guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Peace.
Don't you